Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for October 27th. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann, and come join us at LionStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all for one low price. We also do have a free trial. If you've never tried us out before, come try us out for free. It's the best way to do it. You can get 7 days free. Now, let's dive into the slate. So, on DraftKings, we got 7 games. They don't have the late one. Really wish FanDuel would do that as well. But on FanDuel, we have 7. We have the Warriors and Grizzlies and Portland versus Lakers game. Now, let's dive into it. As always, we're going to go position by position, talk about some high-owned guys and some possible pivots. High-owned, Dante DiVincenzo, 6.1K. 5.1K. He is without Anthony Edwards. That's the big news here in Minnesota today. And with that, I expect him to play a ton of minutes. Edwards got hurt early in the game. He played 38 minutes. So I think he's a lock for probably 34, but we could see even potential pluses on that. I do not think that Mike Conley is going to get a huge bump up in minutes. I think he's probably stuck around 23, 24, and I would expect either Jalen Clark or Bones Highland to pick up some extra minutes, and you can consider them a little bit if you want to get wild. But Dante's role without Anthony Edwards does improve. His points per 100 improves, his assists, his rebounds all improve, and he's playing more minutes. So while he's at 0.98 fantasy points per minute over the last 20, you could probably add a little plus on top of that. So I think Dante is in a very interesting spot. Don't mind getting to some of him. Next, we got Devin Booker, 8.8K, 24% owned, in a great spot for the Utah Jazz. Now, Booker hasn't got off to a hot start, but we know it's coming, and the chance for him to be able to really go nuts is absolutely there, especially in this matchup where defense overall over the last 20, Utah is 30th in the league. Now, they have been tough to start the season versus point guard, but all in all, I don't expect them to be that tough versus point guard, and I like the spot for Devin Booker. It's only a matter of time till he goes nuts, and his price is coming down. It's when he goes nuts, it's going to be for like 60, and he can actually absolutely pay off an 8.8K salary. Now, let's get into some pivot action, and I wanted to talk about Jordan Poole. So Zion Williamson is out. Poole, last game, put up 20 shots in 41 minutes. If Zion is out, Poole is going to be pulling that trigger left and right, and so it gives him a huge ceiling, and it's a spot that I absolutely will consider going to. Now, if he is in, I still think it's interesting because there has been shot volume there both days. The issue is he's not really getting any counting stats. Only 2 assists in game 1, 5 assists, 4 rebounds in game 2, so he had some counting stats there, but not a ton. I'm interested in Jordan Poole at low ownership, but for guards, probably a little bit chalky today. Dylan Harper is a little interesting. He's been playing, 29 minutes last game, 26, 23. Minutes are trending up. I don't expect him to get over 29 minutes, but 26 is very realistic, and he's been playing pretty well. So don't mind getting there a little bit. Now, let's go on over to shooting guard. We got Dante DiVincenzo, who we covered. We got Austin Reeves at 8,500. The man just went absolutely nuts yesterday, putting up 82. You cannot expect that again. But with Luka there, 47 and 49, and he gets a big boost up. This man has came out and played every single time LeBron and Luka have been on the bench, or prior to Luka, LeBron, and AD. And I think you can absolutely go back to AR. I'm going to probably have a ton of him. Grayson Allen, 5,200. I've been playing a ton of him with him in these prices, and I'm going to go back to that well. Simply put, he's been right around, 6x every single game. And I am totally fine going right back there versus Utah, which is a great matchup. Devin Booker, we talked about. Quentin Grimes, 4,800, 22% owned. Grimes has a big time ceiling, therefore I'm fine to play him. Now, this is a very tough matchup, so I might not have too much of him, but it's a guy that's coming off the bench that's been getting 30, 32 minutes. And when he comes in, he is asked to kind of play a similar role to last year when everybody was out. So he's playing a 6-man role where he can really succeed. I'm a little interested at 4.8K. Edgecombe just keeps getting it done. Man, he is getting at 1.13 fantasy points per minute so far to start his NBA career. Now, I think that's probably a little high. I think it comes down, but he's also been playing huge minutes, 42 versus Boston, 40 for Charlotte. Now you bring that to like 1.05 and he is still out there for 38, 40 minutes and it's going to look really good at his price. So I'm absolutely fine going to some Edgecombe at 6K. I think he needs to get into the 7s before I'm really pulling up on him. Kelly Oubre at 4,900. Gonna play a ton of minutes like he has been. And while I don't like him with Embiid out there, just because his fantasy points per minute go so much lower, he still has that ceiling opportunity. And you're talking about 4,900, sub 5K for a guy that can absolutely go out and put up 8X. I'm fine with that. Jordan Poole, Vassell, 5,900 versus the Raptors. Vassell hasn't came out and had a big game yet this season, but we're talking about 5,900 and he keeps putting up around 30. The shot attempts are there. He's going to have a game kind of like Booker where he's really feeling it and he should get plenty of attempts with Wemby on his team and everybody worried about that. Getting on over to small forward. We got Austin Reeves at 2,800, Grayson Allen, and Royce O'Neal as the high-owned guys. Royce O'Neal at 4,100. He is a value guy that I've been all over to start the season. And I don't mind going back there. The minutes are there. And that's my important thing. 28, 28, 29. We can lock him in for 26, 28 minutes. And he's been a 0.84 fantasy point per minute guy. And he's in a good spot versus the Utah Jazz. Sign me up at 4,100. I'm going to get some of them. I'm not going to go overboard. I do think his price is getting his ownership is a bit high, but it's a chance I'm willing to take. We talked about all these Philly guys already. I just want to let it be known, do not play too many of these guys in the same lineup. I mean, Oubre, Edgecombe are starting with Maxey, Embiid, and Grimes is coming off the bench. If one of or two of these guys is having a good game, one of them is going to obviously going to have a bad game or lose some minutes, something like that. So don't go too hard on all of them together. Now let's get on over to power forward. And we got Wemby. Wemby is going to be super high owned as he should be. Right now we have him at 26% owned. Look what this man has been doing. It is absolutely insane. 3 70+ point games in a row. Now, one thing I do want to say about this is so many of his fantasy points are derived from blocks and steals. Do not be surprised if he gets down to, a 50-point game here, because all it takes is those blocks and those steals not to be there and him not go for a 40 and 15. I mean, he goes for 20 and 12 or 25 and 12, which is like a normal game for him, and then just doesn't have the blocks and steals, then, you're not getting this huge eruption of points. And I mean, 29-11, 31-14, like he is an absolute beast. And I think he's on a mission this year. I love playing him, but I do think his ownership today could get a little wild. And you have a clear pivot on Jokic, who's going low owned and has this type of upside just isn't going to have this type of upside with as much consistency, but he can go 40, 20, and 10, and there's really nobody that can do that in the league. So I'm interested in Wemby. I like him, but I don't see this box score and be like, oh, I got to slam him. All it takes is, less blocks and steals, and then he's not paying off that salary. Pivot wise, Julius Randle, there's no Anthony Edwards. Minnesota is going to be a bit chalky today, but there's high upside in this spot. Man got 49 and 39 minutes in a game that was, largely without Ant, and he can definitely play that up again. Fine going that way. And it's a very interesting spot as Denver is 27th versus power forward to start the season. AD 10.8K. My only issue with going AD, and I like AD, is you can get for 2K more, you can get Wemby, and he could have 20 points more than Wemby. I like AD. I think there's a huge path to success, but I don't love the price just because I think the chance of, mid 60, high 60, especially in this matchup, is going to be hard to come by. So I like Wemby or I like AD, but I'm not going to go overboard. Zion, 9.7K. And so he's 1K cheaper than AD, but he's done about the same. Now, the issue is Zion's questionable now. But I would rather play Zion at low ownership than AD. They both have similar ceiling. They can both regularly get into the 50s. AD is probably a little more consistent with the 50s, but hey, Zion's 1K cheaper with a similar ceiling. Jaren Jackson Jr. at 7,600. I am a little bit of a sucker for Jaren Jackson. He has a giant ceiling because of steals and his blocks. But I got to warn everybody because I am a little worried about this one, but I'm going to click the button because I don't think it's totally like the truth. I don't think it's reality as far as what Memphis is going to do game in and game out. 25 minutes versus the Pacers, 21 versus Miami, 27 versus New Orleans. New Orleans was a close game. The other two were blowouts. So I think blowout was part of the reason for the lesser minutes. But even 27 minutes versus New Orleans is a little bit low. We really want him to get 30-ish plus, and then the ceiling is really there. I am a little worried that they're going to do that. We have him projected at 31. But once he starts, if he gets 32, 33 minutes, he's underpriced for where he's at in a very high scoring game, and he can be an absolute difference maker for Memphis. So definitely like him. Now on to the center spot. DeAndre Ayton, 5,700 is going to be super high owned. We talked about no Luka with AR already. It's the same spot. Now we also have the added factor that he's going against his old team in Portland. So we got the whole revenge narrative, if you want to, call it that, or talk about that if you want that talking point. But he came out and played 36 minutes against Sacramento and was a force. Without Luka there, he is needed. So I don't hate going that way. The issue with Ayton is we never know when he's going to play or when he's going to just take a night off while playing. Like there's nights where his effort just isn't there. So that's the worry. But on paper, this looks like a very good play. And at 5,700, you should be hammering it because the likelihood of 40 plus is high. Wemby, we talked about. AD, we talked about. Jaren Jackson, we talked about. Jokic. 12K. So far, he's done what AD and say Zion have at way cheaper. But we know these 70s and 80s and 90s are possible. He did put up the 90 against Minnesota for what it's worth. I don't mind going here versus Jokic. or for Jokic. But hey, it's 12K, and you could also just get Wemby. At the ownership, I think it's a good play. There's absolutely a chance that he outscores Jokic, and all it takes is Wemby to get, say, 4 blocks and steals instead of 10. And then, Jokic have kind of a normal game where he's putting up 60 fantasy points. His average over the last 20 is 59.18. Then if he has an excellent game, you're talking about mid 60s into 70, and then you're really in the money. I'm fine with playing Jokic. I think he's going too low owned, and there's going to be some value. We have lots of people questionable right now on the injury report, and with that, we could get some added late injury love. And as far as like spots to watch, let me so Atlanta, Jalen Johnson, Porzingis, and Zach Ryacher are all questionable, but all were at shoot around. Josh Giddey's questionable. You want to watch that one. And then Zion, you want to watch that spot as well. And those are like the real main injury spots to watch. You guys have a good one, though. We will be back with more tomorrow. Please come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS, you get it all. And please like, comment, and subscribe to the video. It helps us a ton just to improve our reach. Talk to you guys later. Peace.